Good morning, Cedar Park High School. It's Wednesday, September 30th, and it's a B-Day. I'm Ella Neal.
And I'm Jack Polishuk.
On the Wolfcast today, we have a story on a different type of princess here in Cedar Park, how band is combining their music through Zoom.
Plus, information on a new ice rink, the top 3 things the Pack Chat takes on last night's debate,
and your scholarship of the week. Let's jump in because the Wolfcast starts now. Thanks to COVID, most of us were trapped at home with lots of time on our hands. Many worked on new hobbies or learned new things.
But what one of our own CPHS news reporters, Katie Smith, did during this time stood out to us. She became a party princess. Gigi Munez has the story.
Katie opened her own business called Cedar Park Princesses. After lots of hard work, she transformed her love for acting into her job. I had the opportunity to talk to her about this magical business she created. Take a look. After 6 months of planning and 2 months after going public, Katie offers characters such as the original Cinderella, the Snow Queen, a female superhero, and has plans for more characters in the future.
So as far as Cinderella and the Snow Queen go, I know that those are supremely popular characters. Everybody loves them. And then as far as wanting to add Rapunzel and the Scottish Princess next, those are just my 2 favorite characters ever, and I hold them in a very dear place in my heart, so I can't wait to be able to experience them.
Having her own business is no easy work. Katie spends every free second she has into planning, organizing, balancing costs, working on impressions, and songs.
Like there's some times where I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm putting way too much work into this or way too much thought. But then there's those moments when you're walking down the street and just some kid sees you and their eyes get so wide and they get so excited and they run up to you and they're like, oh my goodness, Cinderella eyes. And it's just the cutest thing ever. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Katie hopes to hire people in the future to continue to spread magic to as many areas around Cedar Park as possible.
I really want to continue Cedar Park Princesses up into my 30s, hopefully. I really want to continue this, especially through college, and have it turn into my full-time job for a while.
While Katie's not currently working in any in-person parties due to COVID, she is participating in virtual visits, which are video calls that include a Q&A and a song.
How was it meeting Elsa? Yeah?
She was in the forest.
Was she? The Enchanted Forest? That's amazing.
The thought that some kid's whole day has been made by just a minute-long interaction is just the coolest feeling.
I've been dreaming. Oh, well, thank you for tuning in. Have a magical day. Bye-bye.
For more information on Katie's business, check out her website at cpprincesses.wixsite.com.
Thank you, Gigi. You can also check out Katie's Instagram at cedarpark.princesses.
Or her TikTok with the same username.
The outbreak of COVID-19 has forced teachers, both of academics and extracurriculars, to get creative with schoolwork. The band program is making the most of the situation by building a band performance from each member's own home. Turning in one individual assignment at a time is the standard for classes taught virtually. But what about a weekly group project where every classmate chips in? This is exactly how our band team is running things, having each member record separate videos of their part in a song and combining all the clips into one composition of music. Senior Jude Pangilinan describes the strict criteria that must be met for each individual recording.
So some of the basic rules for recording, to get a really good recording for everyone, is that you always have to wear headphones because you don't want any sounds going into your microphone other than your sound. You have to re-listen to your recording before turning it in because sometimes the microphone can get out of hand whenever you're recording and it'll make a really loud buzzing noise. You always have to keep your fan off because it'll distort your sound. And yeah, so those are like pretty much the basic rules. And all they're trying to do is give us like a really good quality recording for everyone.
Big props to the Timberwolf Band for responding creatively to the curveballs that COVID throws at us.
The Chaparral Ice Rink is always a popular place to go skating with friends and family. But making the 25-minute commute in Austin traffic isn't always ideal. As of June, a new ice rink and sports complex, the Crossover Cedar Park, has been added to the Cedar Park area. The indoor sports complex comes equipped with 2 full-sized NHL regulation ice rinks and 2 full-sized indoor-outdoor turf fields that are perfect for hockey, ice skating, lacrosse, and soccer, along with features for baseball, dance, karate, golf, and more. General Manager Angie Vaught said that since opening a location in Cedar Park,
the community has been super supportive. The facility is great for families, and it's great to have kids to do all kinds of different activities that are healthy for them.
The Crossover Cedar Park is open for general public, athletes, sports teams, birthday parties, and more. For more information, check out their website, chaparralice.com.
Coming up next are your top 3 things.
But first, a quick break.
Smoky Moe's Barbecue, the best barbecue that money can buy. Proudly supporting Cedar Park High School.
Hello, Cedar Park High School. My name is Kason Johnson, and these are your top 3 things you need to know today. First, last night's presidential debate left many disappointed on both sides. ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos called it the worst debate he's seen in his lifetime. Neither candidates got much into policy, and the moderator chastised President Trump several times for not following agreed-to rule. Vice President also spoke out of turn a few times to defend allegations lodged against him. For many analysis, no one won the debate, but Americans did lose. Second, the Austin Police Department's homicide unit is currently investigating a fatal shooting that took last night near 12601 Tech Ridge Boulevard. One person is dead, and there is no suspect in custody. Not much information is known about the cause of the incident, but in time the truth will be uncovered. And finally, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has shared some recent data showing states having a 70% bee population rise. In the last 2 years, Texas added almost 100,000 colonies between 2018 and 2019. Between January and June this year, the bee population grew by 36%, 38%. That's all I have for you for your 3 things. I'm Kason Johnson. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Kason. Up next is a new edition of the Pack Chat.
But first, this break.
We are not just here to share announcements. We are here to tell stories. Your stories. Students depend on us, and what they need from us is to be hyped, to be ready, to be informed, to be successful, to be Timberwolves. We are real news. We are sideline reporters, moment capturers, question askers, life sharers, cheers spreaders, and voice givers. And above all, we are students just like you, here to help you. We are journalism, newspaper, yearbook, and broadcast. We are CPHS News.
Welcome back to the Pack Chat, our student voice opinion segment. I'm joined today by my co-host Victor Martinez and Sam Nack, as well as our guest co-host Avery Emmert, as we discuss this week's most trending topics. With that being said, let's get started. Last night was the first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and wow, are people talking about it. One of the points that everyone is talking about is the lack of professionalism that we saw.
His FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well, then you know what? We're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
Excuse me, Chris. Wait.
Number 2.
Chris.
Number 3.
They said it would take. No, you were number 2.
No.
Gentlemen, which was heavily.
Mr. President,
you would have been
Mr.
much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr. President,
much later.
Mr. President.
You're talking about 2 million people.
You're not President, as the moderator. I hate to raise my voice, but I see it seems to be. Why should I be different than the two of you? President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating.
If you guys want to elaborate, please go for it.
It just felt like watching 2 12-year-olds argue about a toy, just shouting at each other, and you can't hear what they're saying because their words are just overlapping each other, and it's like, okay. That's
Julie, there was a
Exactly.
there was a lack of professionalism, I think, from both sides. It's just the fact that like they kept like stepping over each other, they kept interrupting the moderator, interrupting each other, even during those like 2 minutes of time where it was specified that they weren't supposed to speak over the other person. It was just like honestly a mess.
Yeah, like the moderator.
And it's like two adult men. You should know that you each have 2 minutes, each of y'all do. And if that were me, I would probably come up with like a tactic to think about what they're saying and then have more knowledge and sound smarter when it's my turn.
Yes, for sure. And I saw something about the lack of talking about policy. Like it wasn't even a debate. Like they weren't even talking about how they wanted to, be a president or whatnot. It was literally just them arguing back and forth about stuff that they wanted to go at with each other.
Mm-hmm. So much of it was personal too, like Trump bringing up Biden's son and everything like that.
The drug.
So much of it had nothing to do with their policy or what they wanted to do as a president, and so much more to do with something completely personal.
For sure. And how long Trump went on about Hunter Biden's involvement with Russia, I was like, let's move it on to the next one, for sure. And I have been seeing a lot of stuff about the moderator, right? So to be in front of these two men, I couldn't even imagine watching this in person, or for that fact of being the moderator. And I've seen just so much stuff about the moderator, so many jokes about who knows how he got there like that. But something I did see is that a lot of people felt that the moderator was left-leaning. What do y'all think about that?
I think to start out, he definitely was, but then towards it got going, and it got a little bit better. But I still think it was a little bit left-leaning. And I think just for him, that just probably was the worst night he's ever had. You got two of the biggest egos on the planet just in one room, and I kind of think his job was impossible.
Exactly.
I completely agree with that.
Exactly. And obviously in today's climate, a huge issue that a lot of people wanted to see be addressed on or at this debate was, the racial inequality in America. And, so each person, Donald and Joe, were both given 2 minutes, to talk about this. And, both of them only took 67 seconds. What do y'all think about that? This is a huge issue. Obviously, so Biden called Trump racist in front of everyone, but what do y'all think?
Well, whenever the third guy, what's he called?
The moderator?
Yes, the moderator. Sorry, no. Whenever the moderator asked Trump to speak on white supremacy, Trump kind of ignored it, and he was kind of dodging the question, and I was just very shocked by that.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked by it, but he wouldn't.
Yeah, I definitely think that was the most revealing part of the debate, the fact that Trump was directly asked to speak against, and denounce white supremacy, and all he could say was talking about the Proud Boys and to stand back and stand by, and because of dangers or whatever from the left. And I just think that that was a simple yes or no question, and the fact that he had to elaborate like that and couldn't just straight up answer it, just in my opinion, says a lot about what his thoughts are on the situation.
My whole thing with that is that Joe Biden wasn't much better. He lied about something that was quoted about what he said in an interview in 1994.
Oh, for sure. The lies there from both sides were a bit crazy. It almost got to the point where I was like, y'all have to be making this up. At this point, I was like, I actually saw a tweet that was someone seriously needs to fact check that debate. But moving on, I want to talk about the climate change issue. I want to talk about their responses to being asked about climate change. What do y'all think about how they handled that question? Obviously Trump suddenly says that he never said climate change is real, but he did say that, he would like to, lower emissions and whatnot, which is something that I haven't ever heard him say before. So what do y'all think about that?
I mean, I think it's good that he said it because I think overall, think people in general just don't really see it as like that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think for him to like say something about it last night really just it kind of just like he might have not said it before, but I think the fact that he brought it up, he's like, hey, like this is real. Like it happens. I think that was a good thing.
Sure. And what do you all think about Victor? I'm actually really curious to see what you think about Biden coming out and saying he doesn't support the Green New Deal. While I feel like that's not necessarily new information, obviously it probably would be concluded that he would support his own environmental deal. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think like the Green New Deal is definitely something that is like much more progressive. And, you know, Biden, even though he is like a Democratic candidate, he is not the most progressive Democrat. And it's what I admire about it is the fact that he was talking about how even though he personally doesn't agree with the Green New Deal, he's working with people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to develop something new. And that's something that she like tweeted about because people were coming at her saying that like, oh, Biden doesn't support your Green New Deal, which you say is so essential, which you say that we need now. And then like what she responded with was the fact that they are collaborating, they are working together, they are trying to find like a compromise, they're trying to find something that we can actually put forward right now to like help and fix that situation.
And lastly, I just want to end off on what they ended off on, talking about the voter or the election legitimacy and whether or not each one would accept those results at the end of the election. We have seen how President Trump feels about mail-in ballots. He doesn't like them. He's not a fan of them. He thinks that they will lead to voter fraud. So he said that he's going to have to see. He would not say whether or not he would accept the results of the election. What do y'all think about this?
I think at the end of the day, both of them would struggle to accept the outcome, whoever wins or loses.
That is what I thought, but Biden said. He said last night, if I lose, that's it. I lose.
That's the thing. That's the one thing that Trump cannot like.
Yeah.
He has said if he loses, there's going to be a struggle to switch power, which is kind of dumb. It'd be like the first time or second time.
That's alarming to me.
But I think at the end of the day, if you get down to it, that because just this year in general just made everything a lot more whack. So I don't think both would be okay with the end results.
And I mean, at the end of the day, there's been so many people that have like come out and said, don't worry, because if, regardless, whoever loses the election, it's under, the Constitution and everything that they have to leave, the White House or, never chair. So it should be fine. Sorry, Victor.
I was going to say my only worry about that, though, is the fact that Trump alluded to that himself, is the fact that if he were to question the results of the election, he would be able to take that issue up to the Supreme Court. And if he's recently nominated a justice that now makes the panel a majority of his supporters, that could be something that was something that was kind of mentioned or talked about in the debate, something that could swing his way. And honestly, I think that's the most alarming thing, because he kind of tries to bring up this whole thing of voter fraud, that these things aren't legitimate, this whole thing about seeing ballots dumped in a river or something. And Biden tried to interject at that point that he has no evidence of that. Most of those claims about fraudulent mail-in ballots and everything are completely ungrounded. And as Biden said, he votes by mail. And I thought that was a really great point for him to bring up, because that's something that Trump villainizes. And I think, personally, I think he's trying to do that so that he can question the results of the election and claim that it's fraudulent. And that's why I was really alarmed by the fact that he wouldn't outright say that he would at least agree to wait until all of the ballots had been counted after election day and not claim victory.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I mean, we have 2 more of these to go. I can't tell if that's good or bad. I guess we'll see. Be embarrassed for 2 more nights. And that's all we have for today's Pack Chat. Thank y'all for tuning in. And remember, T-Wolf Pack, there's always time to chat.
Thanks, Pat Chat host. Many seniors applying to college this year find that it may be hard to know what scholarships you can get. Katie Smith is here to help and has a new scholarship of the week just for you.
Thanks, y'all. Calling all golf caddies, this scholarship is just for you. The Chick Evans Caddy Scholarship from the Western Golf Association is available to all students who have at least 2 years of golf caddying experience and have completed junior year of high school with an above B average. The award amount varies, and the deadline is October 30th. For more information, visit wgaesf.org. Back to you guys.
That's all we have for today. Don't forget you can catch anything you missed on today's show on our YouTube channel. Just search CPHS News.
Make sure to tune in this Friday for a rundown on the upcoming election, a sports report, and a new edition of Carpool Karaoke. With CPHS News, I'm Jack Polshuk.
And I'm Ella Neal. Remember to make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.